Those lost and confused and thinking there is no way out. That is personally how I felt when I was younger. But that all changed when I got to learn somebody named Jesus. That's somebody I admire and I visualize as my hero. My story is like this. I gave my life to Christ when I was 16 years old due to my brothers encouraging me, my older brothers encouraging me to keep going to church, inviting me to church, trying to get to know Jesus. They got to know Jesus and they were able to give their life to Jesus, which I saw brought them happiness, which I wanted the same for myself. My oldest brothers would just invite me. I would always be very hesitant. I was a 10-year-old boy, I didn't want to go there. I wanted to go play outside and have fun with other kids. But, who was there to play with? So one day, my brother invited me to a thing they call VBS, which is a Vocational Bible School. It's meant for kids to get to learn Jesus, get to know Jesus. I went to it. You had fun because you met all these other kids that were most likely in the same spot as you were in. And then you met those kids that were raised in church. You saw the differences in one another, but everybody seemed so happy. And I really wanted that for my life. As I got older and I started to attend church, 12 years old, 13 years old, I got to learn more about him. I learned how he loves me and loves everyone else despite of our wrongdoings, of our sins, of just negative things that other people might not be able to do. For example, I could hurt somebody and they could never talk to me again. But I could do something wrong and I know that if I just ask for the forgiveness, that he has so much sympathy for us. He will understand and he will feel very compassionate about us. When I turned 16 years old, I did this thing called baptism. I went to a Baptist church. So there's a symbol of baptism is whenever a person gets submerged underwater and when they come up, it's like they are reborn. They are cleaned of their sins. It's a symbol that Jesus did himself and in his time. And it's just something that means a lot to people because it feels like it's something that relieves you. It made me happy. I was sitting there waiting for a group of people to go up and the pastor calling each one of us one by one to go and sit in the water, submerge us, and be reborn. It's a great feeling because once you come up, it feels like so much weight is just lifted off of you. Keep in mind, I'm only 16 years old. There's not much that could be holding me down, but I was troubled. I felt like I needed some guidance. What brought me to admire Jesus more is whenever my family started attending church. My family was people that didn't do much of church. They were actually Catholic, but by like the name. They weren't ever going to church. They never did any of those kind of things. So it brought me joy whenever I saw my family, my parents, not my family. Well, yes, my family, but my parents in my family come to church and learn more about Jesus. I saw how it brought their marriage closer together. They were happier, and it just brought me joy knowing just one guy was able to do all that, and that's Jesus. And happiness, who doesn't want it? It was just great. Another reason I admire Jesus is because Jesus was a man, just like every one of us, but he lived a sinless life. He was compassionate. He did so many things for others that people wouldn't do. He suffered. He was tortured, hit. He was put on a cross. And he did it with love. He died for us. He died for me, and that's something that I don't know. I don't think anybody would do. So much as somebody would say, "Oh yes, I would take a bullet for you," this or that. I don't believe it. Jesus did it with love. He knew I was a sinner, yet he doesn't care. he still died for me. And that's just something very like admirable to do. Like not anybody would just do that. I'm getting to know Jesus more and more every day was a blessing. It still is a blessing because you never get to finish knowing about Jesus. And just by getting a way to get to know him is just by either reading the Bible, praying to him, which is just simply talking to him, talking to another friend. You just have a conversation like any other person. And that's why I admire Jesus and why he's my hero. Thank you.